Most people believe they would finally be happy if they had a little more money, a little more success, a little more recognition, a little more freedom. The mind creates an image of a future where everything feels complete and then spends years chasing it. The problem is that a little more never stays the same. As soon as one goal is reached, another appears. What once seemed extraordinary quickly becomes normal, and the satisfaction we expected begins to fade. Think about something you desperately wanted a few years ago. It might have been a job, a car, a relationship, a house, or even a simple opportunity. At the time, it felt incredibly important, almost life-changing. Now ask yourself a different question. How often do you think about it today? For many people, the answer is surprising. Things that once felt essential slowly became part of everyday life. This is one of the strangest habits of the human mind. It adapts. No matter how much we gain, we eventually become accustomed to it. What once felt like abundance starts to feel ordinary. There is nothing wrong with ambition. Progress is often built on the desire to improve our lives. The problem begins when improvement becomes an endless race with no finish line. Modern life encourages this mindset every day. We are constantly shown people who appear more successful, more attractive, wealthier, happier, and more accomplished than we are. No matter where you stand, there is always someone who seems further ahead. If comparison becomes your primary way of measuring life, satisfaction becomes almost impossible. The finish line keeps moving. You tell yourself that happiness will arrive after the next achievement, the next promotion, the next purchase, or the next milestone. Then you reach it and discover that the feeling does not last. Soon the mind creates another target, another condition, another requirement for happiness. Without realizing it, you spend years preparing to live instead of actually living. Many people become trapped in what could be called the arrival illusion. They believe that life will finally begin once they reach a certain destination. Until then, everything feels incomplete. The danger is not that goals exist. The danger is postponing your entire sense of fulfillment until those goals are achieved. Life becomes a waiting room for a future that never fully arrives. This pattern affects more than money. It appears in careers, relationships, appearance, possessions, and social status. The specific target changes, but the mechanism remains the same. Someone wants a larger house. They get it and immediately start comparing themselves to people with even larger houses. Someone wants recognition. They receive it and begin chasing even greater recognition. The mind rarely pauses to appreciate what has already been achieved. Instead, it immediately searches for the next gap, the next problem, the next thing that appears missing. That is why some people with very little can feel grateful, while others with enormous advantages remain dissatisfied. The difference is often not their circumstances, but their perspective. Gratitude is not pretending that everything is perfect. It is simply recognizing value before it disappears. It is the ability to notice what is already present instead of focusing exclusively on what is absent. Many of the things we take for granted today were once goals we hoped to achieve. Yet because they are now familiar, they have become invisible. A healthy body, a safe place to live, meaningful relationships, personal freedom, and simple moments of peace often receive less attention than the things we do not yet possess. The irony is that people frequently realize the value of these things only after they are threatened or lost. What was once ordinary suddenly becomes priceless. This does not mean you should stop pursuing goals. Growth remains important. Dreams remain important. Building a better future remains important. The lesson is not to abandon ambition. The lesson is to stop making happiness dependent on ambition. Those are two very different things. You can work toward more while appreciating what already exists. You can pursue success without allowing success to determine your worth. You can improve your life without constantly feeling that your current life is inadequate. The world benefits when people feel incomplete. Entire industries are built on the promise that the next purchase, achievement, or upgrade will finally deliver lasting satisfaction. Yet lasting satisfaction rarely comes from accumulation alone. It often comes from attention, from noticing, from appreciating, from being fully present in the life you already have. The truth is that enough is a moving target. If you never define it for yourself, someone else will define it for you, and their version of enough will always remain just out of reach. Perhaps the real question is not how much more you need. Perhaps the real question is how much of your life is already valuable right now. Because the fastest way to feel poor is to constantly compare yourself to people who have more. And the fastest way to feel rich is to recognize what you already have. The goal is not to stop growing. The goal is to stop chasing a finish line that keeps moving every time you get closer. Otherwise, you may spend your entire life pursuing more while never allowing yourself to experience enough.